Hey, how's it going, y'all? Welcome to the Gil podcast. This podcast is about me, Gil, and the things that I'm currently obsessing over. Today is actually the first episode, and I kind of wanted to get y'all to know me because obviously this is going to be on the internet. There's going to be probably a few people who stumble upon this podcast and don't know who I am. And that's perfectly fine. And there's also going to be people who kind of know me and just kind of want to get to know me, like on the down low, like, yo, who is this guy? This guy's always talking about content and stuff. This guy's always with his beard. Who is this guy? And this podcast is pretty much going to be about that. Well, it's going to be about me and the things that I'm currently obsessed over. And it's going to be featuring people, like people who I think that are cool. So if you're interested in all that, and if you stick around for this long, unnecessary intro, then yeah, you're cool. Well, first things first, I'm Gil. My whole name is actually Guillaume, and it is French. Oui. I'm Haitian, and I live in South Florida, and that's pretty much my biological type of information if you wanted to know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm also into content creating. I've been content creating for a long time. Before it was even called content creating, it was called the camera guy, yo photographer guy, yo film guy. That was me. There were so many times where that role was just thrown onto me, that job. Yo, Gil knows stuff. Yo, get Gil. And I'll just be called to friends' houses, family members' houses, computer class. I've been called to my principal's office one time because they couldn't figure out how to use one of the Apple computers back in the day, which was probably a Wednesday, if you probably don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure what I'm talking about was probably a Wednesday. That's a Dane Cook joke anyways. But yeah, I was always thrown into that role of, that kid probably knows. You look like you know stuff. And it kind of forced me to just like, okay, I don't want to get called this one shot opportunity to, like, you know, be in the principal's good graces or be in the bully's good grace or like any type of particular person. I'm like, I have the opportunity to like help them out and be not bullied or like get a certain like level of like good treatment. So I would cram and like learn as much as I can. And majority of it was just troubleshooting. And they'll tell me, hey man, I remember one time this girl, I know this is like, it's supposed to be a episode letting you know about me, but this is important. So check this out. There's this girl that I was friends with, and she had issues with her computer, and her brother was a cool guy at the school that I attended. And she was like, yo, can you help me with my computer? The sound just stopped working. So I'm like, hey, okay, cool. And back then there was no YouTube. You couldn't just like, well, if your sound stopped working, you need to go here before you watch the video, like and subscribe. No, there was none of that. It was simply forums. It was simply like troubleshoot forums. And I had to play detective. And I had to try to remember, because you don't want to just drive back and forth if you're missing certain like tools or equipment. So what I did was like, okay, she probably has like an HP, a Compaq, or a Dell. So I downloaded all of the sound drivers for what I believe would be a computer that she owned. And I downloaded like sound drivers for like almost every computer. And I put them onto like this, this flash drive, you know, like, actually, yeah, it was like a flash. I don't remember. Maybe it was like a CD that I burnt. I think I probably burnt like a CD because I used to do that. Like, I used to have rewritable disc and put important files that I needed to like hack people's computer or like, you know, fix it or troubleshoot it. But anyways, I got some removable data and took it off of my computer, like, and went to her house and fixed her computer. So essentially what I did was I download the audio drivers for the sound card and like fix her computer, and she was so thankful. And after that, I was like, so cool. You went to so and so house? Yeah. Oh my God, that's so cool. I'm like, yeah. And the brother was like, yeah, man, he came over. He like literally fixed the computer in a minute, bro. It was so crazy. Like he knew what he was doing. And it was like, okay, cool. And after that, I started like becoming the computer whiz guy. But that's me. That's who I am. I'm the guy who just troubleshoots. And the thing is, it's not like I know everything about computers. It's not like I know anything about cameras. It's more of like being a detective. Like Batman is my favorite superhero of all time. Batman, Shazam, yeah, and One Punch Man, and a couple other people. But Batman is my favorite simply because Batman is so smart. So he's a detective. And what that helped me realize is like there's not any problem that you can encounter in life that you can't resolve. Like there's always going to be something that you can do to figure out how to get out of this situation. And with computers, I learned you don't have to be smart. The computer will quite literally tell you, hey, so-and-so fault, card fault, error, sound card. Well, fault, sound card, fault sounds bad. Sound card, I'm not getting any sound. Therefore, there's something wrong with the sound card. Well, how to fix it? Go to Device Manager, obviously a place where you manage devices in your computer. And I don't know. It's just, that's how my brain works. I'm always thinking about how to break things down in the simplest forms. But I have all that thinking power and it doesn't apply to math. And I don't understand why. I cannot do math. Math literally gives me anxiety. I feel like everybody's watching me. If I'm trying, like when I'm counting with my fingers, I'm like 1, 2, 3. I'm like that big idiot is just counting with his. I'm counting right now. I'm counting right now for no reason. Oh man, but that essentially was how I grew up, fixing people's computers, and even now doing consultations, because I took that skill and obviously I monetized it. I started doing consultations I think before COVID. Like before COVID, I started doing the consultations by accident. A friend, a makeup artist, a really successful YouTuber in the Miami scene. I mean, really successful. Like this guy's huge. He wanted to take his YouTube to the next level. And I had the opportunity to meet him on a photo shoot that I did with Rick Ross the rapper. And this guy was like, dude, you're smart. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. You live in Miami? I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's like, I want to link up with you. And we linked up at this coffee shop, Wells, and we sat down for like 3 hours, and it was like grueling. He just didn't understand anything, but he was making a lot of money on YouTube and a lot of money with like other things and sponsorships and stuff. And I'm like, why don't you know this? And he's like, well, I just record on my iPhone. And I'm like, okay, well, you can start using your camera, get some lights. And it was really cool. And he's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And he gave me like $100. And I'm like, what's this for? And he's like, oh no, for like the consultation. And I'm like, that's what it's called. I'm like, yes, of course. Yes. Well, thank you for what's that word? Paying me for a consultation, because this is exactly what I wanted to do. This is exactly what I knew. I knew what I was doing. And then from there, I started doing consultations via Zoom, in person, at coffee shops. And eventually I started doing consultations at my home office. And then it just kind of went from there. And I just started helping people. And it became great. And I kind of stopped doing photography because consultations became a whole life of its own, because then I started getting an Amazon affiliates link. So where I would do a consultation and I'll like make a whole kit of the equipment that we talked about on the podcast, on the podcast, but on the consultation. The people will buy it. I'll get a kickback, and it was great. It was so cool, man. It was great. And that's pretty much what I started doing. And that's pretty much who I am. I'm just a guy who loves content creating, loves sharing ideas and thoughts and troubleshooting and doing all this other cool stuff. And I think this is pretty good for the first episode, and I don't want to make it too long. But yeah, if you stuck around and and you laughed, hopefully you enjoyed yourself. Like leave a review, I think. Like share this podcast. Actually, don't share this podcast. I kind of want it to be intimate. This is just between you and me. Actually, share it. I'm just kidding. Share this podcast. I want a lot of people to hear this and experience me, essentially. So if you enjoy this, like I said, share it with somebody. Share it with one person who you think gets us, because this is content creator vibes. This is the vibes for people who just want to create and have fun and enjoy what they're doing. Yeah, so this has been the first episode. I'm Gil. Follow me on all social medias. SHINGUIL. And to answer the question, it's Shin Gil. Shin just means new, reborn. I'll probably get into that on another episode. Why I picked that name. I probably should change it to like my actual name, Gil Dormius. But yeah, I'll just leave it Shin for now, because yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Oh, check out my YouTube channel as well. And that's youtube.com/Gil Dormius, GUILDORMEUS. And I'm pretty much everywhere at Shin Gil, SHINGUIL. Thanks for listening. You're awesome. I love you. Bye.